Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge Saturday morning, September 28th, 2019. We have Albertsons American Blended Whiskey from Louisville, Kentucky, from the County Line Distillers. But as it says, it's Sazerac because there's the 1-800 Sazerac number. And it says info@bartonbrands.com. Barton Brands was bought by Sazerac Company in 2009, so that's who's going to handle it. Now, Alberstons was founded in the 1930s, 1939. Brown bottle, gold and white trim. I don't think this is produced any longer. I think it was obviously produced for Albertsons for years, but they replaced the Albertsons liquor brands with products that could be sold across their chains, because Albertsons is part of a big multi-brand grocery chain. So they don't want to be selling Albertsons at Jewel Osco. It makes sense. But what's the one they have now? 75 South. They'll sell that at all of them. Now, this is Gran Legacy American Blend. This is for CVS Pharmacy, also from Louisville, Kentucky, but the alias company name, I call it the alias company, is Legacy Distilling. Also brown and gold oriented label with white and black trim. No age statement on either one, so that means they're aged a minimum of 4 years. And interestingly, neither one has a blend ratio statement. So is it 80-20? More than likely, almost certainly 80% grain spirits, 20% straight bourbon whiskey. But we don't really know. It could be a better ratio, but I seriously doubt that. Matured in American oak. Yeah. That's doesn't mean anything because they're all matured in American oak, whether it's new or used. And in this case, you can rest assured it's used bourbon barrels. Blended whiskey with natural flavors. Another unremarkable statement. Since most American blended whiskeys are flavored with, make sure it's GL. Yeah, GL. Flavored with blending sherry. Okay, up to I think 2%. I have to check. I could find that source for you if you needed it. Could these be the same whiskey put in two different bottles with labels, different labels? It could be, but I don't think it is because of the appearance. I mean, wouldn't be anything stopping them from doing that at Louisville, but the Gran Legacy in my left hand is a bit darker. It's more caramel colored, and the Albertsons is just like a chestnut wood, like light, a little bit lighter, but it's not it is not a huge difference. It's just that the Albertsons is lighter, but tiny little bit. Is that a big facility in Louisville? I assume it's pretty big because you get so many things coming out of there. Sazerac products. But usually it'll say bottled there. It doesn't say distilled in Louisville or aged in Louisville. But so I don't know what goes on at that. They don't really say much about their operation, so you just kind of have to guess. Then you got people that'll make statements about it, but they provide no sources to back it up. It's just, I wrote an article and here's the information about Sazerac of which I provide no evidence. It's like these unnamed sources in the news. American blended whiskey. See, it doesn't say Kentucky blended, it says American blended, which means it could be distilled anywhere as long as it's within the 50 states. Could the grain neutral spirits come from Indiana? Yeah, they almost certainly do, because they told me that's where they get their grain spirits, corn alcohol, grain alcohol. Same thing, American blended. So it could be totally produced across the river in Indiana and brought to Louisville and bottled. Simple as that. Would that be unusual? No, it would actually be pretty common. It's a common practice in the world of spirits. And I was reading an article, can't verify what they're saying. See what I'm saying? Can't verify. Can't verify. They were saying, well, a lot of bourbon companies, and I think it was one of those I know somebody in the industry stories, saying that bourbon companies trade bourbon, like to get the perfect blend of straight bourbons, they'll trade. We want this, we want that. I don't know whether they do or not. Would it make sense? Well, I mean, it would make sense if they had something you wanted and you had something they wanted. This smells pretty oaky. Caramel, vanilla, corn, lots of corn. If you don't like corn, which is yellow corn grits, polenta, you're not going to like it, because it's not super sweet, though. It's not like, you know, off-puttingly sweet. It just smells like corn without the salt or the pepper, you know, or the butter. Like just corn starch, corn substance. Over here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but more wood, more wood. Is it? It's oak, but sometimes oak, you get that vanilla. Oak, people say oakiness. This one seems like it has like the dried flowers. Like if you go someplace and they have just dried flowers, and you get like the dried aromas. And that wood. I think I remember the. I think I remember that Albertsons having those, because it's been a while since I've had it, but I recall, I believe the Albertsons having the wood, the vanilla, and the dried flowers, the nectar. So, okay. See, this one has more of the sweet sugar caramel, and almost like they're adding oak extract. Can American blended whiskeys add oak extract? Obviously so, because the Triple Crown says it on the website, oak with oak extract. So then you got blending sherry. They don't have to have blending sherry. That's not what the Tax and Trade Bureau website says. It says they're allowed to have it up to a percentage. What about other flavors? Well, there's oak extract. I'm sure they're not violating the regulations. They want to avoid that penalty. So there's some guidelines. As long as you follow the guidelines, you got it. It's got to be 80%, no more than 80% grain spirits, which is unaged corn liquor, like the Pabst whiskey, the Pabst Blue Ribbon whiskey, which is what, aged 5 seconds as a joke. You know, it's like a joke. It's not aged. It's just distilled, maybe blended with different grain spirits and bottled. You say, well, why would somebody pay for that? I don't know. Why would people pay for moonshine, like a jar of moonshine, which is just grain alcohol? And they say, look at this. It's $23. I say, 23. Because you could have gone to Walmart and bought some Everclear, which is 190 proof. You could water it down with just some water out the faucet down to 80 proof if you had some kind of gauge, and then drink that. And you could make multiple bottles of that. I don't know why you would do it. I don't know what would be good about drinking it, but maybe if you're using it for mixed drinks, I don't know. I would never fool with that. So tasting. Very basic. This is very basic. There is a little bit of that melon coming through, which is not a good, to me, a good characteristic. But it's grain alcohol. Just think of alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, but that's made from wood, right? Then you'll die if you drink that. But grain alcohol, a little oak, a little caramel sweetness, like a little sugariness. It tastes like whiskey because that's what it is, but it's very basic. You say, well, how much was the Albertsons bottle? It was $4.99 with the Albertsons green tag where it said closeout. I knew they were getting rid of it. I bought that in Baton Rouge, at one of the Albertsons. I believe it was the one on US 61 at the intersection of Louisiana 42, I think. But it doesn't matter because you can't get it anymore. The last 2 years I've been to Albertsons, they haven't had it. I knew they got rid of it, $4.99. I figured even if it's bad, I'll pay $4.99. Might be good. And actually it was. The brandy, the Canadian blended whiskey, which I still have some, and this one here, the American blended, they were all $4.99 on closeout. I noticed the Albertsons in Hammond, Louisiana still has the gin, but just 375 milliliter bottles, about 3 or 4 left. Nobody wants to buy them, and I'm not going to buy them. There's nothing particularly horrible about it. There's nothing particularly good about it. The Gran Legacy was $10.99 for the huge bottle. You get the same amount as the Albertson, 750 milliliters plus another 1,000. So you get 1,000. It's like a bonus batch. You get a regular size bottle plus 1,000. So it's more than twice the size of a regular bottle. And you say only $10.99. Yeah, if you have your little CVS card. And the guy was like, I don't have your card on my record. I said, well, give me another one. I said, they must have not inputted it last time because I was here and I filled it out. He said, well, we had computer problems. And he was acting exasperated. Well, it wasn't my fault. He said, it's okay. And he filled it out and then it worked. So I got $1 off. $10.99 for that huge thing. That's about as cheap as you're going to find it. Unless you go to Walmart and get a bottle of whiskey that same size, this huge thing. Yes, at Walmart. Huge bottle of whiskey for $9.96. You say, that'll do you? Yeah. It's actually not bad, the caliber. Kind of go toe-to-toe with most of the other run-of-the-mill Canadian whiskeys, and you're saving buku money. This one is very similar. It's very corn, sugar, corn product. You say, what about the oak and the char and all that? Yeah, you got to buy a straight bourbon, really. Now, they got that Winn-Dixie straight bourbon whiskey. Sometimes it'd be $13.99 for the big jug bottle. Is it any good? I couldn't tell you. I never had it. I'm sure it meets all the minimum requirements for bourbon and not a tick above them. But maybe it's good. I can't judge what I haven't had. You just would assume it's not going to be, like drinking Pappy Van Winkle. Craig Swenson says, good morning. Good morning to you, Craig. Thanks for watching this video production. We're about to get off of this because of the news, but I don't have to go on and on about these. They're basic products. That should not be a shock because that's what they're created to be. They're not exactly good, but they're not like just horrendously bad. I don't even think American blended whiskey is anything to get too excited about. Either way, some people get excited about it in a negative way and they go crazy, like should be banned or something. Like they should ban it. I hate it. Go on and on and on and on. Nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about it. I say, well, if nobody cares about it, why are you talking about it for like an hour? I mean, if it's American blended whiskey is irrelevant, then ignore it. It'll disappear, right? You shouldn't go berserk for something that doesn't matter. Just simply turn your back on it. I don't even care about it. G&J case says, good morning. I'm thinking about buying Evan Williams bottle and bond today to try. I think that'd be a good choice. 100 proof whiskeys to me are a little much. You say, but you're a weakling. You're a weakling. Yes, I'll go along with that. Somebody's got to be a weakling in the world of whiskey. So that one's more corn grain alcohol. Oh, so wonderfully pleasant. Ha, ha, ha. And this one has an unusually strange oak flavoring flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like with natural flavors, as it says on the label, with natural flavors. I think that tells us something. So I think this is Grand Legacy. Which one's better? Which one is better? I think Grand Legacy is better because the flavoring might kind of offset that corn spirits, grain spirits. But you say, I bet it tastes like vodka almost. Yeah, it does kind of have that taka vodka character, but those will be, charcoal filtered again and again and again. I think it's, it's a little different. It's the same, might be the same starting point, taka vodka and Albertsons American blended whiskey. Same starting point, but it'd be different applications to get to the finishing point. All right. So this is Grand Legacy, and I think it wins by a shade, and I mean a shade. It is GL, Grand Legacy. Ah, right. I'm starting to get a handle on it. Like I'm starting to remember. I got to remember that candy, almost like caramel candy oak thing, which makes it marginally better than a lot of the other ones. And you might say, well, when you're counting pennies, marginal matters. Yeah, that's right. I guess it does. What the heck? May as well. If we're going to cut it real thin, we may as well get as close to what we're trying to get to as possible. Those little tiny margins. So Grand Legacy wins over Albertsons, which probably doesn't matter anyway, since I don't think you can buy Albertsons. But I'm saying that, and then somebody might come on here tomorrow morning and say, guess what? I got a brand new bottle of Albertsons. And then I'll feel silly, But so I've had that happen before. Thanks for watching this video production